Well, whether it's O.J. Simpson, Casey Anthony, or right in our backyard, Alec Murdaugh, the appetite for high-profile trials and watching them on TV or in person continues to grow. Millions watched that Murdaugh saga unfold. Hundreds more came to the courtroom, watch it like it was a sporting event. So why are people so enthralled with true crime? That's what we want to know. I'm joined by authors Neil Gordon and Mike Pachenik, who's written about the phenomenon in this book, Trial Watchers. Now, both of you are really deep into this. Neil, we have to start with you because you were deep in the Becky Hill side of this. Of course, the former Colleton County Clerk of Court, who's now involved in the Supreme Court case somewhere. You wrote that book with her. You've seen some of the situations that come up. How close are we to thinking that Alec is going to get a new trial in your mind from what you know about what Becky's done?
I think it's certainly very possible. I tell you, you look at the situation and you have to look at Becky's credibility. She's saying it didn't happen, but then she plagiarized the book that I worked on. You've got the Juror 785, the egg lady, that's coming out with a book, a tell-all book about her interactions with Becky. You know, sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire.
And this is one of those things that never goes away. Mike, you've been in TV previously in life as you're looking at these things. Are you ever surprised at the appetite that people have for this when it comes to all these trials?
Well, having covered trials just like you have, I was amazed at the people who would come down to the courthouse and wait in line 5-6 hours to get inside. And then they'd follow me on social media, hang on my every tweet, be a part of Facebook groups. And so the appetite is voracious, really, for true crime. Which
is amazing. We talk about it. They were there for 3 or 4 hours, 5 hours even, to just get into the courtroom to watch. So I said there's minutia everywhere. You're watching about cell phone data or whatever it may be. What amazed me is in your book, you guys were talking about these are educated people who really do this full time.
Yeah, we, in fact, in our book, we have a lady from Kansas City. She worked in an executive position in higher education, Kansas University, for 35 years. She's retired. She just loves about the strategy of defense attorneys and prosecutors. And she said, you know what? I've got a little bit of money. I don't go to concerts. I'm going to get on a plane. You know, stayed at a hotel, and then she was part of the community, and she was amazed it wasn't just her.
That's what's interesting. It became a community out there in these trials as they get together and they meet and they stick together and go to lunch and do everything else too.
Yeah, they're courties, right?
Yeah.
Not Swifties, but courties. And we looked into why, and we talked to a media psychologist who says that by and large, women make up most of the true crime fans for several reasons. Number one, they're very principled. They want to see the bad guy go to prison, the good guy prevail. They want to peel back the layers of the onion and solve that puzzle. And then in some cases, they're watching these trials and the evidence to learn how to avoid becoming the victim of a crime.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. And also what's interesting is the lawyers have now become celebrities themselves, too. People are taking selfies with Dick Harpootlian and Jim Griffin out there during the trial.
Eric Bland, I just learned today, is starting his own podcast. Of course, he's been with Mandy Matney and A Cup of Justice, and you're exactly right. I mean, this is a cottage industry. It really is. True crime, it's fascinating. I think I recognize those guys on the back there.
Those good-looking guys right there, you know?
Yeah, I tell you, it was a labor of love, but we put together the book with a lot of help. It's an anthology book, and it's fascinating, and it's different people's takes and situations, and some we learned, Andrew, have been through a lot of trauma, and this is their way to sort of seek justice for the justice that maybe they didn't get in their own family situation. And Mike interviewed a pair of sisters about that.
Yeah,
it's just
that's what I loved is you got different voices in there. It wasn't just you guys saying this is what we saw at the trial, but you brought other people in to tell their version of the story.
Yeah, and the two sisters he alluded to, their father had been murdered 30 years ago. They told me they traveled to these trials and then realized subconsciously it was to get justice for their dad because their dad's murder was never brought to justice.
Right. With Murdaugh specifically, is there any way to verify why this seemed to be so popular, why this drew everyone's attention?
Some of it, I think, was empathy for my wife. That's what it was. She actually really felt sorry for the brothers, the sisters, Buster Murdaugh, there in the various courtrooms. I think this was the evidentiary hearing, and a lot of different family members were there, at least initially for Alex. And my wife had been through a trial herself 25 years ago, and she was the one that people were looking at because her uncle was the one that was on trial. And so she realized that was my why, that it's empathy. They're more than just murder victims. Their family members are victims too, that are living.
Okay, Mike, you're in TV, so you could do it in 15 minutes, 15 seconds or possible while we
Yeah.
put up exactly where you guys are going to be for book signings out here. Explain to me what is so enthralling about this book and why people should read it.
I think we've taken the mirror and turned it back on the true crime fans so they can learn about their why and see a bit of themselves in this book.
Wow, you still got it over there, so you figured it out.
Thank you.
Absolutely, yeah. So in Beaufort tomorrow, 12 to 4 and 5 to 6:30 there, the Beaufort Bookstore. And then right here in Savannah, I'm so excited. They have a beautiful air-conditioned auditorium at the Bull Street Library, and Mike and I will be sharing stories and taking questions, handing out bookmarks and signing books available. And we appreciate you, Andrew, as well.
He did better with the time than you did.
Yeah,
so.
I know. I'm long-winded.
Neil Gordon, Mike Pachenik, thank you so much. The book is Trial Watchers. We appreciate it. This thing's never going to end, so we'll probably see version 2 and 3 and 4 and beyond.
Why not?
All right, thanks so much, guys. We're going to toss it over to Brian, who's got our weather and traffic coming up. Brian.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Certainly a nice day out there. Still hot, but a more